What's the most difficult thing about starting up a consulting business? Think about it for a second. I bet in your mind it is sales. It's the hardest thing for any consulting business. Whether you're a startup or you're in the early years of growing your business, sales are the lifeblood of a consulting business, and it's the hardest part of the consulting business to learn and to do well. I'm going to be covering that topic again this week, but from a slightly different angle. Should you take that client? Coming right up. Okay, so what do I mean by should you take that client? Well, there's been a few videos recently on this topic. Hunt out the one, I think it was called 5 Red Flags, that spotting a bad client from 100 meters or something like that. We'll put a link to that one as well. But I wanted to talk about sales from a slightly different angle this week, and particularly for people starting out in consulting. And I've said this before, the hardest lesson to learn is which clients to take and which ones to turn away. Yes, you should be turning clients away. There's a reason for that. And that's what I'm going to be talking about. Let's go through 3 reasons. Was that 3? No, it was 4. 3 reasons why you might turn a client away, or 3 things to at least consider every time a new client approaches you. So what are they? First one, and I think I've got these in order of priority, is a fit with your business. What do I mean? Does the client fit with your business? Okay, there's the obvious ones like, do you have experience in their industry? Do you have experience in solving the problem that they've got? I mean, those are the obvious ones, and it can be a bit of a trap for new consultants. They'll take on things that they're really not capable of doing. You know, oh, well, this is cool, we'll learn how to do it on this client. That's really not very smart at all. So is it an industry where you have knowledge that you can help? Is it a need that you've helped solve before? But also, and I really want you to think about this one, does the client share your values? Are they going to be a good client to work with? A recent example in my own consulting, my main consulting business is called Logistics Bureau. And this kind of relates to that 5 red flags video. We took on a client. It was a smaller business than we would normally work with. We tend to work with fairly large corporates, but you know, they were fairly insistent. They had a need that was pretty easy for us to fix. It wasn't a good fit at all. And in fact, the client's gone on holiday, but I think when they come back from holiday, I'll just give them their money back and say, sorry, we're not a good fit. You know, that I take the blame for that. I probably didn't oversee the process of bringing that client on board, but it's been a bit of a nightmare. They're obviously not used to working with consultants before. You know, there's a lot of stuff that is, you know, scope creep and was never included in the proposal that they're asking for. You know, oh, but, you know, while you're here, no, it doesn't work like that. We've given you a fixed price proposal to fix this thing. You know, all of these things come at additional cost. Oh, you know, that's a rip-off. You kind of, they weren't saying that, but you kind of see where I'm coming from. So you want people who kind of know how to work with a consulting relationship. You want people who share your values. You know, on the flip side, I was recently talking with one of our large corporate clients, and he said, you know, you guys are just great. We've got total value alignment here. You know, it's so easy to work with you. You know, and what are those particular values? You know, we're very flexible. If there's a little bit of extra work to be done, you know, we're going to do that without any drama. You know, it's all about collaborating with the client and producing good work. That's what the values are about. And I tell you what, if you work with clients who share your values, you're going to enjoy the work much more. And that's really important. I've been doing this for 25 years, I think. I can tell you, if I had to work with, excuse my language, if I had to work with crappy clients all the time, I would have given up 10 years ago. So I'm very selective about who we work with. And, you know, you want to enjoy those client relationships. So, sorry, that was rambling on a bit, but that was number 1, fit. Does that client organization and the people in it, do they fit with you in terms of industry, their need, their values, and so on? Number 2, and look, particularly for startup consulting companies, and you may be working with smaller businesses, do they have the ability to pay what you're asking? So some of the red flags there to look out for, are they a startup business? Are they a one-person business? You know, they've got a very small turnover. Are your fees going to represent quite a large cost for them? So think about that and take a little bit of care with payment terms and things like that. And I know it's one of the sort of less enjoyable parts of running any business, and a consulting business particularly, where you have very close relationships with your clients, but that kind of grubby part where you're chasing money. Thankfully, I never had to do that for long, because we now have quite a large business and the accounts team are very good at that. But, you know, in the early days, you're going to be the one who's picking up the phone or sending the email, you know, saying, oh, your account's overdue. And, you know, you don't want to be working with people who are paying reluctantly or struggling to pay and that kind of thing. So think about that, their ability to pay. And number 3, this might sound a little bit mercenary, but what's the potential follow-on work? So they might be asking you to help with this problem in this specific box. Can you foresee that once you fix that, it could lead on to fixing other problems? Or, you know, in your initial discussions and visits with the client, have you kind of noticed other things that really fit with your business? I'll use that horrible term, you know, they fit in your wheelhouse, that you could also help them with. So look, it might sound a little bit mercenary, but it's good business. You don't want to be doing one-off projects all the time. If you are constantly, you know, winning a new client, doing one project and then moving on to the next client, that's a very fast way to exhaustion, and it's no way to grow your business. The real power in growing a new consulting business is in repeat work and, you know, follow-on work, basically. So, you know, you should be doing a great job on that particular first project, and then scouting around during that first one, just, you know, looking around for other opportunities. And look, I know it's not mercenary. You know, I don't mean you're kind of lifting up rocks and looking for problems all the time, but you'll come across things. So, for example, you know, we might be helping a new client fix their stock management, their inventory, or something like that. And in the course of doing that, we may notice that some of the processes in their warehouse are, you know, really inefficient. And if we could help them fix that and save them a lot of money or improve their customer service, you know, if there's an obvious benefit in that, then as we're coming to the end of that project, we'll say, oh, look, you know, John, Mary, whatever their name is, just notice this over here. You know, that's something that we could really easily fix for you. So that opportunity for follow-on work is really important too. I'm not sure if I think I've shared this story before with you, but I'll share it again because it's a great story about follow-on work. So when I started Logistics Bureau, and Kerry, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, mate, a previous colleague in another consulting organisation called Kerry, he was running his own consulting business. I had just started my consulting business, and Kerry rang me up and he said, oh, look, I've just committed to do this really small project for a client, and I've got to go to China for 6 weeks or something on a project. I can't do it. And he said, look, I'm really sorry, but I've already sent the proposal and I've quoted, so there's no room for you to negotiate the price. It was a very simple audit of a third-party logistics contract. Go in and see how it was all operating and look for any problems, you know, with that particular contract, and give the client some tips on how they could manage it better. And it was a $5,000 contract. Anyway, I did that work and got on really well with the client. And Mr. Client, I won't mention your name, but if you're watching, thank you. And I met Kerry. We were doing a breakfast seminar, and Kerry turned up. It was about 10 years after that. And we were having a bit of a reunion from our own our previous consulting business, where I think it was 5 or 6 of us there at this breakfast. And anyway, I hadn't seen Kerry for 10 years, and I said, how are you going, mate? And, oh, it's really good. I said, I've never had the courage to tell you this. I said, but remember that project 10 years ago that you asked me to undertake, and it was $5,000? And he went, yeah. I said, do you know how much work I had billed with that client by the end of 12 months? And he went, no. And I forget the exact numbers, so don't criticize me if I mention another number on another video. I said, I'm sorry to tell you, Kerry, I think it was $650,000. at the end of 12 months. He went, what? Well done. But I just use that as an example where the relationship was great, the values matched absolutely. It was a great client. It was quite a large client, so the ability to pay wasn't a problem. They could see the value in the work. And the potential follow-on was tremendous. I think at one point I had 5 consultants, working with that client, helping on various projects. And it all came from that first one, doing a good job, just, keeping the eyes open. In fact, I think towards the end of that first project, the client was sort of saying, oh, can you help on this one? And then, oh, can you help on that one? I said, I need to bring a couple more people in. That's all right. So, fantastic relationship. And I have to say that was a great kick-off for us when we started our first consulting business. So there we go. I rambled, but I do like to tell stories because I think they help illustrate the point. They help understanding. So just to recap, this was all about, should you take that client? And one of those problems in the early days of starting up is that you really want to take all clients. Just make sure that they're a good fit. They share your values. They work in an industry that you have knowledge of. They have a need that you can help with. And in that example, that $5,000 client absolutely was 100% fit. If they're a small business themselves or a startup, just get a sense of whether they're going to be able to pay your fees or not, or do they have experience of working consultants? And then number 3, that big point, what's the opportunity for follow-on? Because you don't want to have to be doing every project with a new client. That's a lot of sales effort and so on. Follow-on business is much better. Okay, so I hope that is some help. There seemed to be a lot of interest on sales topics on the video, sales and marketing, so I thought I'd try another one. If you are looking for any more information, of course, look around the channel. There's lots of different videos, and we should have some playlists down below. Check those out. Also, get over to our blog. So if you go to consultingbusinessschool.com, there's a blog over there. If you haven't been to that site before, there's also a download on the homepage, which is actually part of my original business plan when I started up my consulting business. So it kind of gives you the steps on how to start your own consulting business. And I hope that 2021 brings you everything that you could wish for and that your health is okay. And if you're new to the channel, I just remind you that if you subscribe and hit the bell, we'll notify you every time a new video comes out, and it's generally on a Tuesday evening, Sydney time. And hitting subscribe and the bell also helps me know which topics are of more interest, so I can do more of them. Along with liking and commenting, of course. That's another way that I track which particular topics are considered more valuable or more useful. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. We'll be here all through the holiday period. New videos every Tuesday evening. Bye for now.